Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber CTK, and I'm playing the hot new Jeskai Delver deck. I believe this originally came from Javier Dominguez, but it's been out for a couple weeks now. A lot of people have been working on it and succeeding with it. And what we have here is a classic case of the exciting, new, efficient card advantage kill spell, whatever it is, in whatever format it is, being adopted by Delver. Surprise! Here it is. 4th Eorlingas, a card that is awesome, and get used to it. It's going to be all around in Legacy for quite some time. It's my control deck finisher of choice right now. Stompy decks are playing it, and here we are with the Tempo deck that's also adopted it. Insane card. You can, from an empty board, get the Monarch for 3 mana. In the late game, you can make 4 or 5 creatures and just pummel. And this deck can do something very cool, specifically because it has 8 1-drops in it that may or may not have evasion by the time they're ready to attack. You get 4th Eorlingas for X equals 0. Because you don't have to hit with one of the human knights that you make, you just have to hit with a creature this turn to become the Monarch. Turn 1 Delver, flip it, or don't, whatever. Maybe your opponent just doesn't have a creature. Then 4th Eorlingas for 0, attack with Delver. You now are a Delver deck with the Monarch on turn 2. Good luck anybody beating that. 4th Eorlingas also grinds in the Mystic Sanctuary spot. Another interaction we're going to see in control decks and tempo decks alike. Mystic Sanctuary for 4th Eorlingas. Get used to it, kids. This is a Legacy endgame now. And all of this just hidden within a Delver Secret Shell. Delver, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Murktide Regent, Force, Daze, Brainstorm, Ponder, Lightning Bolt. And because we're splashing white for 4th Eorlingas anyway, we get the best removal in the format, Swords of Plowshares, and Prismatic Ending. Delver decks have gone bigger in the past, historically, splashing white for things like Stoneforge Mystic, even the current iterations of Rug Delver. They're playing stuff like Tarmogoyf and Minsc and Boo. And 4th Eorlingas kind of functions like Minsc and Boo, except it also triggers Delver. Being a sorcery instead of a planeswalker is actually a huge upside in this deck. And then, of course, the modality of it is potentially game-breaking on 2 mana, and it's potentially game-winning on 7 mana. Which Minsc and Boo only does exactly one thing, which is cost 4 and die to Lightning Bolt in the mirror. 4th Eorlingas lets you navigate, like, do I pay 1 less to play around Daze? Do I make 2 less to play around Spell Pierce? Do I just go all the way in against decks that only have hard counters, etc., etc.? Very exciting stuff to have in a deck like this one. Though I don't believe this is on the scale of something like Dreadhorde Arcanist or Wrenn and 6 in the Delver Shell. It is certainly doing a more reasonable impression of it. Anytime Delver can spend 2 or 3 mana and start drawing extra cards, you got to pay attention to it. And that's the deck. I don't have a whole lot else to say other than 4th Eorlingas and its role in this deck. This is just Delver. We know Delver. It's the core is a Delver Shell with 4th Eorlingas and some better removal put in. And that's what we're doing here. Let's go make it happen. This is Jeskai Delver. 3-for-1 Trading is one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. Their online shop has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and old-school players. They now exclusively offer the BoshNRoll community free, fully insured, and fast worldwide shipping on all their high-end singles, full sets, and out-of-print sealed product. They upload new cards every Wednesday with weekly sale offers and reductions. Use my code BNR0723 to get free worldwide shipping on your first order over €341, approximately $380. Scan the QR code or go to shop.3for1trading.com. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a pretty dope looking Delver hand. My opponent is Gandalf. That hardly seems fair in this Lord of the Rings Legacy world. They're on a mull to 6 so far. I need all the help I can get against the white wizard here. A mull to 6. Oh, yikes, we're elves. Okay. Well, my hand has Lightning Bolt and Swords of Plowshares in it, but my deck does not play a plateau. I'm going to need land number 2. My best draw right now is just some colored source of mana. Any one will do. There's no basic island in the deck. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, I need a fetch land or a dual land. Almost caught me, Magic Gods. I did not draw the land. If I had drawn the land, I would have played Delver and then just double removal spelled next turn. Now I have to decide if I want to just remove this thing. Do I want to ponder into the second land so I can double spell next turn? Do I want to play the Delver anyway and maybe only play one spell on the subsequent turns? But now I have DRC. I'm probably going to play that, not Delver, if I have one shot at a threat. Yeah, I think I'm going to play Channeler, because that'll give me more action as I dig, as the game moves forward. I could even bolt in my upkeep to get extra card selection. Because if I find the white source, now I need a fetch land or Tundra, not any land. Because I've made a commitment to one or the other. Yikes, okay. I've been snoofed. Okay, so the upkeep bolt, not going to be a thing anymore. Oh, if they're over here playing Dryad Arbors as lands, that's a good sign for me and my handful of removal. Wasteland is insane now. Ugh, okay. Now, the control player in me is saying ponder, hit your land drop, and then cast your removal spell with the land drop. The Delver player in me is saying, maybe this is fine, they're on 3. If I miss the land drop here, I'm in a lot of trouble. There are only 17 lands in this deck. I think I am going to take the short thing on Lightning Bolt, and I'm going to point it at Dryad Arbor. I don't have counter spells anyway, I'm not worried about Allosaurus Shepherd right now. They made another land drop. Didn't cast any spells, so they're probably trying to fetch Dryad Arbor and pick up where they left off last turn. I think I want to start with Ponder here, rather than Delver. If I find the white, I'd rather play the control deck for a turn. Oh, cool. Alright. That's white if I need it, and Force of Will underneath, which doesn't help until I remove the Shepherd. Yeah, I'm just going to land go here, and if they fetch in the end step, I'll plow the Dryad Arbor. There it is. Let's get rid of it. Tundra, plow. Let's hope this 3-card hand collapses from here, and I can start dumping out threats. But I do like our position, all things considered. It's turn 4 versus elves, and I don't have a threat in play. They're out of Dryad Arbors. There's only 2 in the deck. Time to cast spells. Zenith for 1. Oh, we're this version. Okay. I guess maybe I should have known that from the main deck Snuff Out, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I think most elves decks are aware of Snuff Out at this point. This would be a great turn to find Murktide, and there it is. Just speak it into existence, the Delver way. Yeah, I'm just going to shove Murktide and Delver here. Murktide, Delver. Counter spells don't help me here, and I can't ponder into a castable removal spell because I'm out of mana. And if I didn't Murktide right then, they would have been able to rotate Jukabog and make Murktide not a thing. So now they're under the gun. Oh, Cradle in hand, 2 cards. Yeah, if they just natural order here, whatever. Zenith for 3. I don't even know. Like, this could be anything. Grist. Yep, that one makes sense. I'm losing Murktide. They're going to lose Shepherd, probably. Yep. If Delver flips, I can clear Grist. And then we just have to beat a Reclaimer with 1 card in hand. I think I'm going to do the Upkeep Brainstorm, which I don't always do. Sometimes I just let the deck do its thing, but I think right now it's important. Found another Murktide. And Mystic Sanctuary is in my deck somewhere. I don't think I care about Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, put back Bauble, Ponder, with the Ponder on top. The Ponder will flip Delver. And then I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can Ponder and then Murktide here. Don't really want these cards. Shuffle those up. I do have to fetch to get the Murktide in. Every time I play Delver, I wonder why I ever play anything else. Remember when I delved my graveyard and they killed my Murktide last turn, and I'm just like, yeah, Murktide, whatever. Kill your Planeswalker, drop another Murktide. Okay, Grist is gone. They have one card in their hand. They can't cast Natural Order with the mana that they have. Their spells are counterable now. Gotta hope for the best here and hope that their lands package isn't that great. Oh no, they're fetching land number 4. And Craterhoof doesn't beat me here. Archon of Valor's Reach is a thing they could have. If they have Progenitus, we're just in a race that they're not winning. Oh, right, Atraxa is a card you have. Yep, okay. That was a pretty good last 2 cards in hand. They either drew Mana Source number 4 or Natural Order that turn, because that was a 1-card hand when it started. Alright, now we lose. Oh, I could have, I can Swords to Plowshares still. This has been a crazy game. And in their revealed cards, we've got Orcish Bowmaster. That's a card they have. We'll see what they take. So there's 3 plows in my deck, and I have Ponder to try to find it. They kept Misty, Zenith, Once Upon a Time, and Bowmasters. Okay, deck, Swords to Plowshares me. This, oh, Days, right on time. Swords to Plowshares, Swords to Plowshares. Force of Will, also right on time. I'm going to shuffle this. Swords to Plowshares, shuffle it. Lightning Bolt, cool. I mean, bolting Atraxa. Attacking with Murktide and bolting Atraxa is a thing that I could do. I could also sit here and try to grind through this in some other way. Like I could save it for the bolt, for the plow, and use the bolt on Bowmasters. I can't take that many hits from Atraxa though. Yeah, maybe this just, well, if they're super heads up, they just take 5, because taking 5 doesn't matter. Like if I attack and they don't block, then they just have, they get to tee up on me in combat. I could take 1 hit here and give myself 1 more draw step for Swords to Plowshares. Or I could just take my medicine now. I think I want to give myself 1 more chance. Going to 7 is risky. I mean, there's a Bowmaster face up, but I'm holding the answer to it. Okay, that was the draw for the turn. Pretty good. Main facing Bowmasters, sure. That's 6. Zenith for 3. I think they still have fetchables. I haven't wasted them at all, yeah. Alright, yep, Zenith for 3. I'm feeling pretty dead here. There's a 2nd Grist. God, these decks are out of control. Okay. Yeah, that one turn where from 1 card in hand they went land Natural Order. That one was not good for me. And then drawing Days immediately afterwards. The biggest middle finger imaginable. Okay, we have lost this game. Good stuff with the Natural Order. Grafdigger's Cage comes in here. Cast into the Fire comes in. I think I like Wasteland. And on the play, Days is pretty solid. Spell Pierce misses half their deck, but the half of the deck it hits is very important. Kind of a tough squeeze there. I think I can shave a Daze, maybe 2 Dazes, and a Mishra's Bauble. And that's what I'm going to do here. Yeah, so the turn I redeployed the 2nd Murktide, I could have spent that turn cantripping to make sure I don't get clowned by Natural Order. I'm going to keep this hand. It takes a little while to set up, but it does answer their first creature and potentially their first land. Alright, Raw Dog to basic. Once Upon a Time. Reeling Bowmaster. The Ignoble Hierarch. Okay. I guess I could have Spell Pierced the Once Upon a Time. And now we're in kind of a squeeze where I see the Bowmaster, but I'd like to answer the Hierarch. I think I'm just going to not cast any spells. 4th Eorlingas. Maybe someday. That'll be good. Reclaimer. Can't stop that. I can plow it in the end step. This one's worth plowing. Alright, deck. It would be very cool to have a red source right now. Not helpful. Okay, we're chilling. In the Force of Will, as far as non-helpful cards go, is actually pretty helpful. I'm not going to wasteland them right now, because if they don't play their spell, I'd rather waste them on their turn. Okay, I think this is worth a force pitching Murktide, and I'm going to waste the Bayou right now. Try to collapse their resources, because I'm not doing much here. Cradle, Shepherd, yep. That's the power of Cradle control. A deck tailor-made to crush Delver, by the way. Volcanic Island. Oh no, not another counterspell. Okay, so my opening keep could interact a little bit, but needed some help, and I have not received the help at all. We have Endurance too. Cool. Uncounterable. I don't think this one is going to be a victory for me. Fiend Artisan arriving as a 2/2. Greenstone Zenith that I can't counter. Grist. Okay, I can't win this game. We're out of here. Yeah, game 1 came down to that natural order draw, and then this one, I don't know if the keep was bad. It certainly had its issues, and none of the issues were resolved. 8 1-drops in the deck, 8 cantrips, plus baubles, 10 cantrips. Any red source unlocks the spell pierces. It just drew about as poorly as possible there, but I also could have mulliganed, so that's one of those things where if you are genuinely trying to improve at Magic, it would be easy to shrug that off as, oh, I just ran bad. But it would also, if you're too analytical, it would be easy to say this hand was bad. And I don't think either are true. I think we're in that gray area where it takes real analysis of determining, like, what were my outs there when I kept that 7-card hand. And so we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. We had 28 excellent draws from that starting hand. Yeah, I don't feel bad about that keep. And I'm sad it didn't work out, but I don't feel like I punted. Just needed some help. Full coin flip, any one of those cards. It's turn 4, by the way, and we lost a coin flip. We lost 4 coin flips in a row, basically. Yep, count it. On to the next one. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. Round 2, on the draw versus a Yorion. I'm going to keep this hand. It has the possibility of the turn 2 Monarch. Unfortunately, I'm on the draw, though. This would be such a beating on the play. Okay, because I drew a land that doesn't fetch, bobbling myself now matters. Because if I like what I see... Oh, wait. There's a trick here. I'm going to save this bauble. Check this out. I'll teach you all a new trick. I'm going to play Delver of Secrets. And I'm going to bauble myself on their turn. And then when it gets to my turn, I'll have a Delver trigger and a bauble trigger that I can stack however I choose as the controller of those 2 triggers. And if Delver is going to flip, I can put Delver on top. And if Delver is not going to flip, I can put Bauble on top and get a second look for Delver. So they're passing the turn, and Bauble myself. They're fetching in response. Causing trouble. Oh, am I getting Bowmastered here? That would be such a shitty beating. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, that's not Bowmaster mana. Okay, so Lightning Bolt is my top card, which means that I want to stack Bauble first, so Delver is on top. Delver reveals Lightning Bolt, and you see how I could have done this the other way if that wasn't a spell. Okay, I will not be shoving 4th Eorlingas here. I will be attacking, though. Not much I'm worried about. Coatl doesn't have Death Touch. This is not Bowmaster mana. And Ponder here. I would like a counter spell. They do have Coatl. That is a counterspell, but it's not a helpful one. I wanted Spell Piercer Daze. I could take the Plow and just put up the walls, but I have 3 removal spells already. I think this is just a shuffle, actually. Shuffled into Prismatic Ending. Perfect. The other thing I could have done there is take the Force of Will, just invest in the future, shuffle away the other 2 cards, and any blue card I find in the future gives me that bubble. Delver's full of tiny decisions like that all add up. This deck looks kind of plug and play, like, oh, you just play your 3-power 1-drops, blah, 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 daze all their spells. Delver is really hard to play, though. Or at least really hard to play optimally. It's very easy to just shuffle up and put cards onto the battlefield, and very hard to play it well, which I think is the sign of a really interesting deck. Okay, I could Lightning Bolt the Coatl, and then 4th Eorlingas for 0 on my turn. And then I have an uncontested Monarchy at a time when they only have green mana available. I don't know what that would do to stop any of this. They'd basically have to force. Now I have a real decision, though, just playing a second Delver and holding up other interaction. I think I want to go for the Monarch. 4th Eorlingas for 0. Okay, got 2 cards out of that. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Negation. I would have cast him to Turok if I had it this turn. Fair enough. Run it. Towards the Plowshares, okay. Got another Delver where that one came from. We've got the Delver trick again. This deck might have black mana in it somewhere, which I'm not the most excited about. I do have Lightning Bolt that can kill Bowmasters. Alright, that's not a black source. Bobble myself. And it's Ponder. Okay. I'm wasting all these tricks. Top card is Ponder. Delver's gonna flip. Then I draw Ponder. Then I draw for turn. Opponent is pausing here, like they have something to do. Change their mind. Okay, I'm gonna Ponder first. Another Delver, and then Murktide under it. I like this setup. Obviously the Delver's not gonna flip, but I like having this Murktide around. And good chance I have to bolt to Coatl this turn anyway. Oh shit. Yep, that one's way worse. And my Murktide sucks now. I'll use Bolt to finish off Endurance. Okay, that's gone. And that was, of course, the thing that could happen. Maybe I should have read that upkeep pause as that, like they were thinking about whether they should shut down Murktide. I read it as they were trying to kill Delver. This is bad, though. Now they have Death Touch Coatls up. And Yorion in hand. Gross. Ponder. Do I want to brainstorm here? The prismatic endings look pretty bad. And yeah, I guess I do want to brainstorm here. It doesn't solve the immediate problem of that Yorion plus draw card. Okay. The Daze might solve the problem of Yorion. If I put back prismatic ending, and Murktide is pretty close to being back here. Prismatic ending and one of the Delvers. I think red's more important than white on average. Okay, let's hope they don't have a land to go with this Yorion. Yep, taking one. Okay, we're in trouble. The Yorion gets to redraw a card with Coatl. Force of Will revealed to Delver. The biggest insult. The Force is actually fine, though, because I can Murktide here. And it's bigger than Yorion. Deciding if I want to leave a mana up or exile another card. I'm going to leave the card in my graveyard for Delirium and future Murktides. They know I have Force of Will. There's so much mana and so many cards. Might be tough to navigate this one. We're going to try. I like Brainstorm quite a bit. I'm going to Prismatic Ending this snake. They suddenly have a Force of Will, which they didn't have last turn or didn't want to use last turn. I'll take the bait here. If they just plow my Murktide afterwards, it's mostly the same outcome, which is Murktide doesn't get to attack. But if they are out of gas, I'm driving here. Okay, they're at 5. I like it. If they crack these 2 fetch lands, they're in bolt range. I think I have a couple bolts left. Really, I've only used 1. I feel like I've cast a million. I might be mixing last game up. Oh god, you're a natural order deck. Stop! People gotta quit it with this shit. There's nothing I can brainstorm into here. I can't daze, I can't spell pierce, I can't brainstorm into force and blue card. Okay. That was a good thing they worked me into with the force of will. Played me like a fiddle. Yeah, I'm usually on the other side of this, the one that's like, go ahead, Delver. Use your last counter spell. I have nothing going on, wink wink. Yeah, if they just take the Wasteland off of this Atraxa, take me off of white, then it's going to be really hard for me to win this. And it's really hard even if they don't do that. They just get to draw 5 cards here, and I have to deal with their 7/7. Life is pain. They kept Grist, Prismatic Ending, Abundant Growth, and Wasteland. Prismatic Ending, the Delver, Wasteland, the white. Grist can stabilize next turn. I have to brainstorm into Plow plus White Source here. Second Murktide I cannot cast right now, but it is a force block if I can get it in. This is not how we get it in. If I force the Grist and then play a second Murktide next turn, I think I'd rather have Ponder at the end of that road. But no, I need Brainstorm because I need to change my hand for 2 cards. Okay, so I force Grist. I play a second Murktide, which makes the first one bigger. And just hope that their other 3 cards in hand are completely blank. Draxa gets to connect here. They're brainstorming, pretty good. There's the Grist. Force that. The Seiju is their land for turn. Endurance, great. Well, that does make my Murktide big, but it doesn't let me play a second one. Unfortunately, I brilliantly stacked the other Murktide on top, which is now a dead draw, even though they did just give me a lethal attacker. But Endurance can block it, and then I'm dead on the backswing. Okay. Man, these natural order pivots, all the rules are different than they used to be. Okay, so I gotta beat a deck with Endurance and Ice Fang Coatl and a combo kill. Cool. Understood. And Cage turns off Natural Order and Green Sun Zenith. Pyroblast seems important here. Daze falls off pretty quick in the matchup. I'm generally pretty happy to board out a Bauble. Prismatic Ending hits Grist, which could be a problem. Lightning Bolt is a way to win the game. Spell Pierce, solid against this strategy. I don't really want to cut my Force of Wills. And maybe I'll trim 1. Because their spells are largely better than mine. I just need to get them dead before they start casting the good ones. They're almost certainly an Uro deck as well. Cage shuts that down. But I don't think I want to go so far as Surgical here. Turn 1 Cage and a bunch of Brainstorms. I can keep this. Just running out the Cage, making sure they can't Zenith on 0 or for 0. This just hangs it out there for Prismatic Ending. It's fine. My hand's full of lands. Loaded Strand go. Ooh. No plays. Interesting. What was their plan here? Why would they keep this hand? Force of Will, Swords to Plowshares. Mystic Sanctuary definitely going into the deck. 4th Eorlingas is my plan now. And I think I want this Plow. Or no, I need to get rid of the Plow. Because I want to cast Ponder now, and then 4th Eorlingas with Force backup next turn. Okay. This is the plan. Spell Pierce, cool. I'd rather pitch that to Force than my Brainstorm. Okay, go. Missing their land drop again, going to discard. Are they also a Reanimator deck? If they are, this Grafdigger's Cage is extra messed up. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. I have to assume they have Force of Will in their hand, which I am prepared to defeat. Force pitching Uro. Force pitching Spell Pierce. Okay, I'm the Monarch. Are they just hiding their 1 green source from Wasteland? I don't agree with that play if that's what's happening. Like, did they keep a hand on the strength of Zenith for 0 and they just can't do it? Now they're not playing their land at all. There's no way they thought Wasteland Force of Will would beat Delver, straight up. That's not a thing. Now we're just firing off Pitchcast Endurances. Go for it. Not my plan. Cool, whatever. Channeler, Ponder, Scalding Tarn to the graveyard. I like these cards. Back with my horse, and I get to draw a card. Alright, go. Wow, that was a weird game. Alright, I'm on the draw now. Daze gets worse. Horse gets better. They're a deck that can support Icefang Coatl, so I don't think I want the extra Wasteland here. Confirmed Uro, we saw it with our eyes. Maybe Surgical is something I'm interested in as a one-of. Like, stripping the Uro could matter. Stripping their plows could let me bash in. Okay, the last bauble is gone. +1 Surgical. My hand does powerful things. Opponent kept 7. They said Island go. You got it. Volcanic Island go. Wasteland, cool. I float blue. If I float red here, it just tells them 1000% that I have Pyroblast, and they're just going to move phases before they cast a spell anyway. Just doesn't matter. Passing here. They're representing Bowmasters now. I have Swords to Plowshares for that. Gonna get a Volcanic Island and cast Ponder. Lightning Bolt, Plow, Pyroblast. Do I want these cards? Hard to argue with Pyroblast. It doesn't line up against Zenith or Endurance. Yeah, maybe I actually just don't want these cards. Ended up with the Pyroblast anyway. Hope it's good. Fetching in my end step. I think I will Pyroblast a Coatl here. It's just going to be a 2-for-1 if it resolves, and I'll just deal with it 1-for-1 now. And hope they don't have a turn 3 or a 3-mana tap-out play that KOs me. Brainstorm, sure. The Brainstorm means they can't hardcast Endurance this turn. If they're going to mess with my graveyard, it's going to cost them 2 cards to do it. Carpet, Tilt, never mind. We're in trouble. Okay, yeah, if they just hardcast Endurance here, all my plans are in the shit. They made blue. Okay, it's not Endurance. It's Coatl. Which I also don't care for, but it's better than Endurance. Alright, I'll now tell them straight up that I have Pyroblast by fetching for Tundra before playing Murktide Regent. Left Volcanic Island in the graveyard because that one, if they Endurance me, I want that one in the deck, not a random fetch land. Well, they have infinite mana to do whatever they want with. Prismatic Endings are in my deck somewhere. Opponent spent a long time on that Brainstorm. Pyroblast, can't counter that one. Ponder, yep. Ponder chose to shuffle. Dorian's in the grip. And no attack with Coatl. They're worried about the Eorlingases. A bunch of people pointed out in my comments that Eorlingas is already plural. I don't care. I think Eorlingases, Eorlingai, I think all of those are funny, and I'm going to keep saying them. Another land with an option on another plow. Or plow's on top currently. Okay. Don't shuffle, take the land. Play Delver, which plow will flip if nothing else happens. I can Pyroblast Yorion. And in an emergency, I could plow the Coatl to stop the draw, or the Yorion to stop the big dragon in play. I've got options. Carpet triggers, they have 7 mana to work with here. Possibly 8 if they have a land drop. Making white with the carpet, that looks like Yorion mana. Prismatic Ending's fine. These are all distractions until we get to Murktide. Minskin Boo, yikes. Well, I have Lightning Bolt, at least. That's fortunate. No! Okay, this game I don't believe is winnable anymore. Do I have any out to a hamster actually running amok? No, I do not. Okay, and Yorion's still looming. The hamster, or I could plow the hamster and have Murktide that's bigger than what they're doing. I guess that's my out here. Yuck. The Coatl has Death Touch now. Okay, this Swords to Plowshares on top of my deck, not going to be helpful anymore. I don't think I want to Mystic Sanctuary this Lightning Bolt back. I think I'm just going to fetch Tundra and draw for turn and hope it's good. That wasn't very good. Okay, I'm going to play the Murktide, just a little 5/5. That's exactly enough to pressure Minsc and Boo, though, because Minsc and Boo will be at 5 this turn, unless they minus, where I'll plow the hamster in response, and they can ping something for 1 if they really want to. They made green. Did you draw natural order? Zenith, geez. Okay. All right, now we're dead. We knew their 1 card in hand was Yorion, and then they just deployed Zenith, which is going to get Grist and defeat me. Or it doesn't have to. Okay, no, go ahead, get Grist. And then I plow and... geez, the Dryad Arbor, they have it covered. They know everything. They know all the tricks. Okay, I was gonna plow and bolt the 2 creatures, or plow and blast, but now I can't do that. Yeah, we're dead. GG's. Tough run to this league, queuing into 2 decks built to farm Delver. When I'm out here in these queues, I just play against Reanimator 5 times in a league, and here we are versus Cradle Control and 4-color Natural Order Zenith. Rough beats. But we are getting good gameplay out of it, and there are decisions that could be made. Like, there are decision trees that we identified with, like, cantrips and hand keeps that could have resulted in different things. And a lot of these games are just coming down to hot rips from my opponent, which, if you put your opponent in that position often enough, there's more lands in decks than hot rips, and you'll be ahead over time, but sometimes they're going to hot rip, and that is what it is. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3, hoping my opponent's deck doesn't have Natural Order in it. Got a mulligan this no-lander. 1-landers are fine. I'm in. I'm going to keep this, and the 2 options I'm thinking about here are bottoming a Brainstorm, because I have a bunch of that sort of thing already, or bottoming Murktide, because that's kind of a later problem anyway, and Brainstorm can help me find the threat. So I can either keep the threat and use my cantrips to deploy it, or bottom the threat and have more cantrips with which to unfold my game plan. I think I want to lock the threat, and I'm going to bottom the Brainstorm. Oh, and I'm all to 5. Okay. Are we getting reanimated? Oh, we're getting Chalice of the Void. Oh, I have Force of Will. So it's all good. Force. Now we face the same question again. Do I want to lock this threat that's probably pretty good against an Ancient Tomb deck, if I can get there? But now that I've bottomed 1 Brainstorm already, I'd be down to 1 cantrip to make this kind of medium hand function. I think I'm going to pitch the Murktide here. Mox Opal. Running out that Opal's actually pretty helpful. Alright, rewarded. Them running out Opal tells me that they are 8-cast and not Moonstompy or Initiative, which affects how I ponder here. I'm going to shuffle this ponder because I really just need a land. Alright, I'll take Daze, though. See if that finds a home. If I'm able to Daze something out of this 2-card hand this turn, it's going to be a huge blowout. And if not, Daze is just going to rot. Okay, I was deceived. They are the Initiative, and they have a second Chalice. Gross. Or what is this deck with Karakas, Mox Opal, and Chalice in it? All right, Mystic Sanctuary tapped. Let's go. I can Murktide next turn, maybe. I would love if they played something Dazeable right now. Okay, so we are either 8-cast with Karakas in it randomly, or we are some blue-white deck. I'll cast Psy, Mox Opal in the graveyard. Okay. Well, I'm not able to Murktide here. I could just start putting cards in the graveyard. Yeah, I'm going to cast Lightning Bolt and start feeding the Murktide. If I draw a fetch land, I want to be in business here, or any land, actually. Any land, we're in business. Ooh, that's a really good card for a time that's not right now. As soon as I find a white source, we are doing stuff. They bobbled and saw Daze at random. That's disappointing. That's a card I'd prefer they were playing directly into. Second Ancient Tomb, bobbling me again. They see the Murktide Regent. Well, it's go time on that. End step Brainstorm gets countered. Then I play Murktide and hope it can go coast to coast here. They can't play Aether Spellbomb because of their Chalice. Otawara would do it. Thoughtcast, annoying. If they find Thought Monitor and can start blocking, that's also annoying. Bobble, they saw 4th Eorlingas. They know I'm a white deck now. And I'm just gonna keep drawing 1-drops. And Chalice, or Saga being online now means that I can't cheese an extra 2 damage in with 4th Eorlingas. I think they're gonna be able to get a giant construct holding Shadow Spear the turn before they're dead here. No Thought Monitor, that's way worse. I mean, Daze could eat their Lotus Petal or tap their... Yeah, I don't think this is worth dazing. If they didn't have Lotus Petal and I could get them to tap Ancient Tomb here, I would have done it. They did tap the Urza Saga, though. That's fun. White source. White card. We've been very bad at drawing mana, but that is... look, we added a color to the deck. It's not like, oh, I'm so unlucky. It's... If this was Is It Delver, I would have my 2 colors under me, but it's not, so here we are. They can tutor up the Aether Spellbomb. Really interesting, they were just not interested in a construct at all, but I guess they don't need them, because now they can just Thought Monitor out of the graveyard and block forever. They might not even want to unsummon my Murktide. They just want me to keep putting their Thought Monitor in the graveyard. They had Otawara in hand and just don't need it. Here comes Kappa. What a beating. This one was really tight for like 1 second, and then we just lost. All right. I can't win this game anymore. I've been saying that a lot in this league. Maybe Delver has finally been dethroned in a meaningful way. And also, they just had 2 Chalice of Voids that game. What am I supposed to do against that? Answer the first one. Okay, here's a bunch of sideboard cards. I like Wasteland against the Sagas. Daze was awful that whole game. I don't hate Force of Will, but I also am not totally convinced that I need it. Spell Pierce also kind of medium here. 4th Eorlingas might be a little risky. I want some of them, but it's not a card you can just always cast on the board. They could have a bunch of random Thoppers around and junk. No thanks. I like Bolt. I like Plow well enough, but Plow is being side graded into Pyroblast. I have more removal than I started with. Oh, right, there's 2 Stony Silences in the sideboard. My brain didn't even register those because they weren't Null Rods. Yeah, I want those. And I'll cut my artifacts to make room for them. Cool. Yeah, this is a heavy sideboard. Could even bring in Grafdigger's Cage too as additional Emery hate. Could bring in Force Negation as additional Chalice of the Void hate. Like, there's a lot I could still do that's even deeper. But this is now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 answers to a resolved Chalice, and they only play 4 of them. I'm gonna hope that holds up. Okay, I can keep this hand. And then just Flooded Strand Go holds up Pyroblast or Spell Pierce, which is basically all of their possible turn 1 plays covered. Yavimaya, fascinating. This list is wild. Okay, now I can ponder as well. Looking for threats. 4th Eorlingas is a threat, count it. I put that in my hand right now. Lotus Petal resolves. Urza Saga, disappointing. This one is going to get Spell Pierced. And I'm very much in the market for a Wasteland at this point. Force me back. Okay, force pitching Psy. I have the Prismatic Ending for this. Bobble. Bobble. Okay, Wasteland is my best draw here. Brainstorm, not it. The thing that I could do here is jam my horse, take the initiative, and then just get that clock ticking. think I actually like that. Boom. One horse. One enemy. Charge into battle. 4th Eorlingas. Okay. I am the Monarch now. I am going to have to deal with the Saga before it takes the monarchy back. But I'm hoping that this investment in the future gets me where I want to go. They're thought casting off of Lotus Petal because they don't have any blue sources. Nice Yavimaya. Cool tech. Stringing together a bunch of thought casts. Pretty good. But they're spending Lotus Petals to do it. Pretty bad. And then they just conceded the game. Good stuff. Okay. Basically didn't have to show them any sideboard cards there. Spell Pierce is worse on the draw, but I already only have one. I think this setup is fine. I'm in. Let's go. This is a pretty hateful starting hand. I like it. I am full of hate in general. Opponent's on 6. Here's a Saga. Lotus Petal. Chalice of the Void, obviously. My hand has an answer to that in it. Okay, do they also have the Ancient Tomb to just solidify this nut draw? Yeah, they do. Hell yeah, they do. Cast into the Fire is going to be my plan here. Gonna play around Force of Negation by letting them go into their turn. And I'll grab Volcanic Island and cast this Chalice of the Void into the Fire. In their upkeep before their draw step, I've played around Force of Negation and give them one less draw step to find Force blue card. That was the sequencing there. And now we are on a frantic dig for white removal or meltdown. Oh yeah, look at this hand. They're all in on 6/6 lifelink beatdown, which is a pretty dang good plan, I gotta say. Unless I melt them down, then they're in trouble. And they are kind of in a squeeze where they would like to solidify their hand with a counterspell, but if they pop their baubles, their constructs get smaller. They saw Pyroblast at random, they saw Lightning Bolt at random. Okay, they know that they just made one of their creatures boltable. Draw for turn, Murktide Regent. I'm going to start with Brainstorm and see where that goes. Brainstorm, white... Alright, I can kill both their things here. Do I want 4th Eorlingas in the mix? Or do I want Murktide Regent? How do I want to actually win this game? I don't need this extra land. And then I want Pyroblast. Yeah, this is literally just deciding, do I want Murktide or do I want 4th? And I think I want 4th. I put those two back. Here's the Lightning Bolt they've seen. I'm doing this one first because if they do have Force blue card over there, I want them to waste it on Lightning Bolt before I hit them with Prismatic Ending. And I am going for the creature, not the Shadow Spear. Another Saga, alright. Glad I just got rid of the Murktide against this Aether Spellbomb situation. Land's actually really good here, because I get to... I have some options here. I can 4th Eorlingas for 2 horses. I could 4th Eorlingas for 1 horse and protect it with Pyroblast. Or I could Ponder for Wasteland and try to just knock them out of here. I think I want to do the Ponder. Because right now it is as soft as they're ever going to be. And if I find Wasteland, just get them. Oh, Meltdown. Alright. I'll take a Meltdown here. Tundra, 4th Eorlingas, Meltdown. I'll shuffle, and then I think I'm just going to make 1 horse and get after it. They don't have blue here to pop the Spellbomb meaningfully. And if they force blue card here, then that's all their cards. And if they don't, I get to do horse stuff. Okay, I am the Monarch. An instant speed removal spell would be great here. Here's that Yavimaya again. That does make the Ancient Tombs less painful to use. Spell Pierce, not really helpful here. Like, I could Meltdown now. Or I could... Blocking doesn't really matter. If I attack and they block... Yeah, blocking's not going to matter, but if I can trick them into making a construct now, that's a good deal for me. Alright, I would love to draw Lightning Bolt or Swords of Plowshares off the Monarch right now. Stony Silence, that's so close. Okay, they're gonna get the Monarch and hit me for a bunch, and then I'm gonna melt down Stony Silence, GG them. There's the second construct. I have 2 potent sideboard cards and 2... Oh, they didn't attack Shadow Spear. I get to chump. They don't get the Monarch at all. I think this is better than letting them have the Monarch for a turn. I'd rather just let Delver die and keep it. Yeah, they didn't equip Shadow Spear. They're trying to keep the Saga train rolling here, which I respect. There's the Saga they just tutored. And then... Wasteland? Can I find the Wasteland? I boarded it in extras. Meltdown for 1. Make sure all their stuff goes with it. Stony Silence. And now they're going to have to win with the constructs, which can still happen, but I'm drawing 2 a turn. I have more Meltdowns in my deck. I made fun of the Yavimaya in game 2, but it's actually saved them like somewhere between 4 and 10 life this game. Ooh, Atrax's Fall. That's pretty cool. Artifact, Battle, Enchantment, or Creature with Flying. If I Spell Pierce this, then they can't make a construct. This is a sick little squeeze. Force blue card. Love it. Okay. Cool. We got Force blue card out of their hand on a spell that we have a second copy of. But I do need to find more either removal spells or bigger creatures than them for this to matter. Brainstorm, help me out. Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, if I just pop Meltdown on top here, it'll be pretty hard to lose. Put back Prismatic Ending and Pyroblast. Or do I need Stony this turn? It's definitely Prismatic Ending, and I'd like Force Blue card up. But I guess Force Blue card is almost the same thing as Pyroblast. So if I put Prismatic Ending, Pyroblast, or Prismatic Ending, Stony Silence back, this is a bounty of riches. This is not like, oh no, I'm in a tough spot. It's how do I navigate exactly what's going on here. If I play Stony Silence, like I need to play Mystic Sanctuary to put Meltdown back on top of the deck. And then I'll draw that Meltdown for the Monarch. Pyroblast can keep me around for a turn. Maybe I just don't need Stony right now, because I want to flip my Delver. If I put back Stony and Ending... Wait, but then I won't need Force if I play the Delver. Okay, the Force goes back. If I put back Force and Ending... Okay, yeah, that's the one. Put back Force and Ending. Then Mystic Sanctuary, pick up Meltdown. Then I can play the Delver, play the Stony, draw the Meltdown, protect it all with Pyroblast. And I'm not going to attack this turn. I don't want to let them take the Monarch if they spike in Ottawa or something. So they get one more round of constructs. They're all going to die to my Meltdown. And then there's one Saga left in their deck to do everything with. And they've already used Shadow Spear, Aether Spellbomb, and Expedition Map. Yeah, I was about to say, a good chance there's only baubles left in their deck and they can't use them. And we did it. It only took, what, 4 or 5 busted sideboard cards? But we're on the board. Count it. Get out of here. 8 cast. On to the next round. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I am finally on the play in round number 4. This hand, I'm down with 2 lands, a Ponder, some interaction, some threats. Both of the top-end threats, I would rather lead on Delver, Dragon's Rage Channeler here, but we are a little bit bigger of a Delver deck, and sometimes your hands are going to look like this. And it won't be me mulling them. I'm going to fire off my Ponder. Got to start feeding this Murktide. There's Daze. I'm very happy with that. Now that Daze is in the mix, I probably don't need that 3rd land, because I'm likely to replay the one I already have. But I know it's there in case they just crack up a Wasteland or something. Volcanic Island. Delver of Secrets. Okay, I'm drawing Swords to Plowshares this turn. Then I'm happy to point at a Delver of Secrets. Do I want to Brainstorm first? Do I think that's important? I brainstorm first, I can get land number 3. And I'm starting to think that Force of Will and possibly 4th Eorlingas are both not really where I want to be with my life. I think I do want to brainstorm here. 3rd land, more removal spells, more dazes. Yeah, Force of Will's gone. And I think I'm going to lean on Murktide more than 4th. Now I can Prismatic Ending this thing, save my plow for something bigger. Blammo. Please force this. Daze, okay. I'm going to daze them back. I'm going to pick up the white source. I'm holding Swords of Plowshares and the fetch lands, possibly a resource that I want access to down the road. So if they wasteland me here, I'd rather have white around. Volcanic Island, Dragon's Rage Channeler, and I'm going to slam a giant Murktide with Daze back up here. You can usually tell who's winning in Cantrip Mirrors by looking at the graveyards on turn 3. I have 6 cards, they have 1. Dang. They would need Force and Daze to stop this, and seems they had none of the above. We haven't seen a splash color yet. I think this is kind of the default flavor of Delver now. They might just go white source plow here, and I get my Murktide gone. We'll see. We're about to learn. Okay, black. So Snuff Out probably. Thoughtseize. Cool. Thoughtseizing pre-combat, they must have Snuff Out. Because there's a chance that this Thoughtseize would end up with them Delirious. And then they have to ram into the Murktide. This is going to be fun. I have better removal, but they have better threats. There is the Snuff Out. They will not be Delirious unless they have another spell here. Nice little relief. Yeah, these Delver decks, whether you splash white or black, you get answers to Murktide in the mirror. Just something that the deck wasn't doing for a long time. DRC, they know about Daze, but I might be able to get a blowout with Spell Pierce. Wasteland, okay. Orcish Bowmaster is disappointing. If I Daze, I have 3 card types. Could get Delirious here. And I guess I'll try to get Delirium before I just lose to this thing. Not helpful. Okay. Now I'm dead. I guess if I slam another Murktide right now, we're in business. I did get some card selection off of that. Alright, deck, help me out here. Don't give me a brainstorm. Swords of Plowshares. Okay. I'm not upset about that. I am... Do I hold on to it? Or... Because if they jam Murktide, I'm more worried about that than Bowmaster. Alright, I'm just going to go after the Bowmaster now. If they jam Murktide, it sucks, but I'm not beating this thing either. 2 cards left in their hand. Wasteland. I'm going to float red. Throw them off the scent of what I actually have. Right, I took 2. They still don't have Delirium. This is where they jam the Murktide and just show me what an idiot I've been. Okay. That card was almost good. Land number 4. Spell Pierce starting to look pretty bad. Delver of Secrets, I'll take it. This is where they Bowmaster me. I gotta say, I feel kind of behind where their splash card is Orcish Bowmasters and mine is 4th Eorlingas. This does not seem to favor me in this particular matchup. Sending the whole squad. I think I want my Delver around more than I want to save 1 damage right now. I have so little going on. Delver sees a volcanic island. Do I want that? 4th Eorlingas seems like a huge spew. I think I'd rather fetch and try to do anything. Force of Will's not it. I'm going to have to block this turn. I can't take the Monarch because they'll just take it right back. And then I can never win. I'm going to have to trade off with DRC here. Because I don't have to. It just seems like I'm gonna want to. 2 versus 1 is fetch land and Force of Will. Both gets me regardless. At 2. They're just playing with their food. They have 3 cards in hand. They probably all win the game. Yeah, there's the Bolt. And now even drawing a removal spell is not good enough. And they can force me back. Cool. Okay. they were able to take over in the mid game after I dominated the early game. Maybe I'm not supposed to fight over their first days when I daze them back. Maybe I just let them have their 1-drop and shove a Murktide into it with more protection. Orcish Bowmasters, though. Wow, that is so much better than 4th Eorlingas in this mirror. Pyroblast, Cast into the Fire, Hydroblast, the other Wasteland, just increasing my land count. Seems worth doing. Is 0 the right number of Force of Will? I can fight Bowmasters with my removal spells, I guess. That's how we do that. And Shave a Bauble. That looks like a plan to me. No lands in my opening hand. Gonna have to mulligan this one. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna keep this and bottom. It's gotta be the 4th Eorlingas, right? And knowing that their Snuff Out deck makes the turn 2 try to steal Delirium play even worse. Got kind of a control hand here. Let's hope it pans out. Being down a card on the play sucks, though. This is probably going to get grindy, and they're just up 2 cards on me to start. Delver, okay. Second DRC, okay. I can try to get double Surveil going, or I can make sure that my Plow doesn't get dazed. And I think I'm going to go for the Gusto here. Words to Plowshares. Looted Delta in the graveyard. Prismatic Ending. The card is good, but it's also a sorcery for Delirium, and I'm trying to fuel out this Murktide before I run out of gas. Going for it. If they kill one of these Dragon Rage Channelers, the other gets Delirium. Just a Ponder, I like that. If they Thoughtseize my Murktide, I get Delirium as well, and I'm bashing pretty hard. Did not shuffle Ponder. They have a Bloodstained Mire. They're doing something with it. What a world it would be if I had Daze right now. The Delver life. In the pool, Lightning Bolt. Okay. I get Delirium with the other one. Do they have Snuff Out? They do. Okay. That's a Snuff Out not being spent on this Murktide. I'd love to draw a land to play around Daze. Oh, no love. Just another Murktide. I'm playing the Murktide out of bolt range, but leaving 1 spell in the graveyard to prepare for the second one. I don't think they have a way to deal 4 that doesn't deal 3. Like, Snuff Out would kill it no matter how big it is. Pyroblast kills it no matter how big it is. They're just passing the turn. This could be all of those cards I just said. And I guess I'll attack with Murktide. See what they want to say about it. And this Channeler does run directly into this very obvious Bowmaster, but I have Plow for that. And that fuels my graveyard. Oh my god, what? Plow, the Bowmaster. I got a Surveil. Do I want Pyroblast? Maybe. That kills their Murktide, yeah. I'll keep Pyroblast around. I had a chance to spike Delirium there and stuff this activation if I hit a creature. They've got a Channeler that is not Delirious currently. They've got a Thoughtseize, that's disappointing. Okay, see you later, Murktide Regent. I'm drawing Pyroblast, which helps against their Murktides, but doesn't help against their Snuff Outs. Did I just say they get Delirium? Because they don't. I don't know. What did I just say? I've lost track. The words that I've said are all lies. Man, I love Thoughtseize and Delver decks and Control decks. I just love Thoughtseize. I'm jealous of my opponent right now. Petty Theft targeting my Murktide Regent. I think this is worth a Pyroblast. This will give them Delirium because it puts a creature in their graveyard, but the DRC has to attack, so it's not available to block. And then we're just racing. I put them to 2. And then they're in bolt range for the rest of the game. Getting tight. Spell Pierce. I love to see that right now. Get in there with Murktide. You're at 2. Their best card is their own Murktide, which should not be a surprise to anyone. But that will make a bigger creature than I have and knock Delirium off the DRC. Not that that really matters. I don't know why I even said that. That doesn't matter. Okay, DRC. I am not going to Spell Pierce this Brainstorm. If that was 8 for a removal spell, that's bad. I don't know, that was actually really close. if I Spell Pierce that and they tap out, they could still hit Snuff Out. If they didn't have Snuff Out in their deck, I would have Spell Pierced that, but they do. They haven't conceded. Oh, right, they can't Snuff Out here. I should have Spell Pierced that. But it looks like they're going to Pyroblast in my upkeep. And I'm going to Spell Pierce it and hope that they don't have a second removal spell or their own Spell Pierce. And I'm going to leave up red when I do this in case I draw Bolt. They can't force here. It has to be a Spell Pierce or Fluster kind of thing. Heck yeah. Coast to coast. And they did force just to show me who's boss. Cool. Coast to coast with the 1 Murktide Regent. Good stuff. Okay, 4th Eorlingas, especially on the draw, seems even more risky. And getting Delirium seems like something I want to be actively doing. I'm going to bring my Mishra's Bauble back in and cut a 4th Eorlingas. And I am just Jeskai control here. On the draw, of course. And I am going to keep this hand. Nice little control hand. There's a Delver. Okay. This time I'm not going to try to do any Delver tricks. I'm just going to bobble and get my card before Bowmaster gets online. And bobbling myself versus bobbling them is pretty interesting here. I can control the top card I draw with fetch land versus non-fetch land. I think that's worth more than having information here. Just having good cards. Swords of Plowshare is great. I love that one. Shoving Delver directly into Bowmasters. That is the world we live in right now. Yeah, I draw Plow. Delver trigger. This is blind. And they hit revealing Lightning Bolt. Good stuff. There's the red source to Lightning Bolt. Me with my Hydroblast, not currently castable. Let's hope they try to get clever and spike in my upkeep rather than just doing it main phase. Because then Spell Pierce and Hydroblast are both live. Looks like they're making moves though. Seems they know how to do this. Oh, they don't know how to do this. Well, they have a different red card to cast. It's not that they don't know how to do it. That was a mean way to say that. They chose to do something different. Okay, Delver. Let's clap back. Yeah, okay. Revealing Pyroblast and draw. Cool. Now I can kill all these things and keep Swords to Plowshares back. I think I want to Hydroblast Dragon's Rage Channeler, or do I just ignore that? Yeah, they don't know about Hydroblast. They do know about Pyroblast. I think I want to hold on to the Swords to Plowshares. That hits Bowmasters as well as Murktide, where Pyroblast only hits Murktide. I'm going to take a shot at Delver here. And let's race. My hand is full of removal and cheap interaction. Let's see if I can get them into something they don't want to be in here. Here's the upkeep bolt. They get the card selection off of Channeler before they draw for turn. That is the correct time to do that. And I'm going to go for a Spell Pierce. Hydroblast can kill this DRC whenever. And Spell Pierce might fall off real soon if they keep hitting land drops. 3 card types in their graveyard. Okay, they kept their Surveil and then just didn't do anything. No lands, no spells on their entire turn. That's suspicious. I'm going to Ponder. My hand's already good, so I don't want to Brainstorm. I don't have bad cards to get rid of. I do like this Daze, but I like the Delver more. And my hand is full of answers to stuff. What am I worried about? Dazing? I don't think I am. Yeah, I'm going to grab this Delver and then continue applying pressure. Though maybe I just messed up, because if they kept a card and then didn't do anything for their whole turn cycle, what card is good enough to keep, but I can't cast it now? And I think the answer to that is Bowmaster. I think I want to spend my Brainstorm now while I still can, without losing my whole board. And missing on land kind of stinks, but I am okay with having Daze in my hand and playing around Bowmaster as much as I can afford to. They can't Murktide with what they have. Bowmaster's pretty low impact right now. This is the chess game of what could they have and how do I minimize its impact, and they're doing the same thing to me. Lightning Bolt. Okay. This Delver is going to die. Bolt meets the criteria of cards that they could have kept last turn because they're good, but were not able to cast them last turn because they already used their red. That might have been the card they held on to. My top card is a spell, so Delver's cool. Hydroblast can counter a bolt. I think I'd rather just get rid of this Dragon's Rage Channeler and have a bunch of answers to Murktide still waiting. Top card is Plow. We both have 4 cards in hand. We both have 2 lands. I am up 1 creature in play. This is super tight. We're both missing land drops. Old Jabroni Masters over here. Let's see if you have a Daze as well. Cool. That was a really good turn. All right, that feels good. Reveal the Swords to Plowshares. Draw for turn. Cast Ponder with my red because they already saw the other one. Kind of punished because I drew a bunch of red spells here. I think it's okay though. I can't cast Pyroblast and Dragon's Rage Channeler in the same turn if I don't have this land. So this is a pretty awkward ponder, no matter how you slice it. I think I want to make sure I have the next threat lined up, and then I'll worry about all my other spells. Okay, opponent's at 10. Delver, you got it. They know I have Plow, so this is either bait or they just have to do this. I'm going to Plow DRC in the end step. That's the one I'm more worried about. That offers card selection on a board where they clearly are not quite doing what they want to be doing. And attack with Insectile Aberration. And I think I invest my Dragon's Rage Channeler this turn, and then just have a wall of removal next turn. I'm drawing the land, so I could play Pyroblast, Bolt, and Plow next turn if I need to, with my opponent at 8 life. Daze is the revealed card. That one can be worked around at this phase of the game. Snuff Out is becoming a huge liability, which is one of their marquee cards in the matchup. Snuff Out and Bowmasters are the reasons that they are the colors they are. And one of them is pretty close to off. Hydroblast, my Channeler, it's gone. We're getting an attack with Delver? We're not. Okay. I'm drawing land here. And so Pyroblast can kind of leave 3 damage on the board by leaving Lightning Bolt in my hand. The Pyroblast can answer Murktide without me giving them 8 life. It's kind of like a... Do I try to leverage the 3 life difference now at the expense of maybe giving them 5 life later? I could also Swords to Plowshares, which is the same as Bolting Aberration, because they gain 3, then I take 3 versus... And I still have the Bolt versus using the 3 direct damage to attack for 3. I have to kill this thing, I just have to decide how. I think I want access to Lightning Bolt over the course of this game, and I'm going to Pyroblast the Aberration. Okay, that's gone. Attack you for 3. Let's see if I've walked into Murktide. I have answers for it. It's not like Murktide is GG. It's just, I would have preferred not to let them gain 8 life. They only actually have 3 spells in their graveyard, so it would be 7 life, not 8. Oh, yeah, there it is. Blue, Murktide Regent on the way in. Okay, Murktide's here. It is a 6/6. Oh, right, yeah, that's how that works. It's even smaller than I thought. Things just keep getting better. I'm not going to Plow it in the end step, because I have ways to answer this without gaining them life. I could also just go upstairs with 2 bolts. Interesting. That's an all-in play, for sure. I could also Plow this Murktide, see if they want to fight over that, and then just still have double bolt in the tank. Yeah, I think they would fight over this if they could, and if they can't, then go ahead, have your 6 life, and I have you on a very short clock, regardless of that. Okay. I think this makes sense. Yeah, just going for the double bolt there. If they have Force of Will, I lose. I'm just so far in the shit that it doesn't even matter. Now with their 2 unknown cards in hand, they have to remove Delver and counter at least one of these Lightning Bolts. Hymn to Tarok, tilt. Alright, well, bolt you. This is going to cost them their days, but that was a really good Hymn to Tarok. And I'm going to cast this. It's gone anyway. Might as well flush out the days. And then Mystic Sanctuary becomes lethal Can't pay. But you knew that. Oh, they have a removal spell. Good follow-up. This would be a great time to have 4th Eorlingas. They have 1 land in their hand. We're basically both empty again, but I get the first draw step, and they're at 4 to my 13. Come on, Ponder, let's go. Set me up. Oh, Murktide Regent into 4th Eorlingas. Don't mind if I do. Do not shuffle. Making this as big as possible. They're in top deck mode. Their only card in hand is the land they picked up to daze me. Even if they draw Murktide, it can't be as big as mine. If they draw a removal spell, I Eorlingas them. They're at 2 and I'm the Monarch. And then they're still top decking. And my next card down after the 4th Eorlingas is a land, which represents Mystic Sanctuary, which I just exiled my Lightning Bolts. Kind of blew it on that one. Hope I don't need it. But it could be another 4th Eorlingas. Yeah, I was just sort of clicking at random with Murktide, but it actually mattered a lot that I exiled both bolts. Play tighter, folks. I was so excited about the Ponder, I forgot to pay attention to the details. Oh, they're sitting there in the tank. The clock is running. I can't imagine what's being thought about here. Like, Murktide Regent is an 8/8. You're at 4. You have 1 potentially castable spell in your hand. The thing that I could consider thinking about here... Nope, that's not even true. I was about to say, like, do you play your land and brainstorm off of that to leave up a correct color spread? But I can't imagine that matters. Maybe we're just getting roped. I don't know. I'll check in 5.5 minutes if that's true. Nope, not getting roped. They were just thinking, they said, thanks for the games. First ever time with Delver. Great running into an expert. Yeah, the Delver Mirror, high skill legacy. I made a bunch of little missteps, but I was much better at drawing Murktide Regent, I dare say, which matters a lot in the mirror as well. GG's, on to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop. And be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in the final round against the Daddy, who has historically been a dredge grinder. I don't know if that's true anymore. I haven't seen him in a while. But that was his thing for a while, just farming with dredge when dredge was not really a real deck. But my hand's really good against dredge. I'm on the play. I have the ability to kill one of my own creatures if I need to clear bridge from belows. I can counter 2 spells on turn 1. Let's get some info. Lotus Petal, okay. Probably not Dredge, but I'm still glad I have 2 counter spells in my hand. Volcanic Island Delver. And I think against a known weirdo combo grinder, it's more important to bobble them and get the information than it is to do the Delver trick. Oh dear. We are Dredge. Grief, okay. I have 2 of the important card. Grief, pitching Golgari's Thug. Some things never change. Force of Will's the important card in my hand, and I got 2 of them. They took days, just forcing the 2 for 1 on whatever spell they're going to try to cast here. Yeah, this is how you play against Dredge. You just counter literally any spell that you can, and hope that it's good enough. Cool. I hope that was the only enabler they had. Delver does not reveal Murktide Regent. Attack for 1 and hope that they fail to function from here. I can bolt my Delver if I need to. Hope it doesn't come to that. Flashback, Faithless Looting. Yep. That's why the daze was gone. If I had drawn a red source or a white source, I could have exiled the Lotus Petal and made something out of that. Icarid and Grave Troll in the bin. Okay, Delver. Flip, revealing something good, please. Towards the Plowshares. I'll take the flip here. Can't cast that card. But we are dealing damage to an opponent who both of their lands are City of Brass. They did exile the Reef to get Icarid in. Do I care about 1 bridge token enough to lose my Delver? I think the answer is no. I am going to try to race this opponent and their tokens, this Lightning Bolt, in combination with their lands. Sick. Alright, now White's online. I can Prismatic Ending the Zombie, or I can Swords to Plowshares the Icarid, and I think I'd rather remove the Icarid for good. Okay, they didn't even go for the Icarid. LED. They needed that because they were out of dredgers. Your little poke here, that's fine. Then I'll go to my turn. Oh, I should have shoved Murktide last turn. What am I even doing? I don't care about Icarid. Yeah, they could be dead right now, and I'm just a fool. The opponent's at 7. What do I want to do with this information? They've seen my lightning bolt. Yeah, I could just shove and say, good luck. Or I could leave up the lightning bolt as an emergency measure. I'm going to prismatic ending the Lion's Eye Diamond. I don't think I care about the creature. And what I don't want to happen is for them to discard this and flashback looting with it. Yeah, they just used it as a discard outlet. There are 2 bridges in the bin now. Kind of feel this one dropping a little out of control. Really wish I'd played Murktide the turn before. Okay, they get to attack for 5 here. There's 1 Dredger left. 3, 4, 5, 6. I can put them to 1. If this Icarid dies, they get 2 zombies, and they do have plenty of black creatures left. Murktide would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 2-turn clock either way, and one of them, they don't have a bridge from below, and one of them they do. Yeah, I'm going to bolt my own Delver here. Bolt Delver. Clear the 2 bridges. And play a 7/7 Murktide. And hope this works. Exactly lethal. Go. Pretty good blocker. Their 1 card in hand is the creature they dredged last turn. And their dredge was a big ol' whiff. Okay, we got him. Cool. Picking apart dredge in game 1s. You love to see it. Sideboard cards come in. Grafdigger's Cage, Surgical, Force of Negation. Casting the Fire is interesting. That's more ways to kill my own creatures. Not that I'm super stoked about that. We did see breakthroughs. Pyroblast is an option. I don't think I like Wasteland here. I really don't like Prismatic Ending. That's out for sure. 4th Eorlingas. I don't think that's how I'm going to win these games. Maybe I leave 1, maybe I don't, but we'll revisit that in a second. Lightning Bolt's very important for killing my own creatures. Pyroblast can do the same while also countering breakthroughs. I don't think Bobble's very important here. Yeah, I think I'm just off 4th Eorlingas. I don't want to introduce the Monarchy against Dredge where they play Icarids. Daze on the draw is a lot worse. Do I want Wasteland? Wasteland could be completely irrelevant in this matchup, or in combination with a Force, could take them completely out of the game. And those are the 2 modes, and there are no other modes. There's no modes where it's fine. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here and not bring in the other Wasteland, though I think it would be reasonable to do, and probably cut a Daze to do it. But I want to keep my blue count high for these 6 forces that are going to be very important to winning the match. Like, I only won that game because my opening hand had 3 counterspells in it. And even then, only barely. No counterspells in this hand, no graveyard hate. I have to mulligan this on the draw. I would have kept it on the play. Ugh. No anything. Straight to 5. Okay, here we go. Keep this one. Bottom DRC that I can't cast, and I think I send a land here. Just based on the texture of this matchup and how all this works. Lands are not that important. Force pitching Ponder. Hope that was enough. Nope. Got me good. Yeah, we're probably just dead to breakthrough here. Yeah, that's like the shell game. If they have multiple payoffs. Yeah, their hand just didn't do anything if I hold the Force. And they hit Oxybagonus. We can concede. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. Got turn 1 through a Force of Will because you just... Sometimes their hand is a bunch of nothing, and you take the LED and they lose. And sometimes it's 2 LEDs, a breakthrough, and Cephalid Coliseum. I'm going to switch Hydroblast in. Probably should have been in. Now we've seen Oxybagonus, and we knew about Faithless Looting already. Daze is good enough on the play. I don't want to go completely empty on Swords to Plowshares or super low on it, because picking off an Icarid is important. But 2 seems fine. Okay, I'm doing it like this. Almost mono blue deck going in. This is much better. I'll keep it. I have a threat, 2 counterspells, and meaningful graveyard hate. Gonna get this DRC into play and start grinding. This was really annoying. If I had Force of Will, I would force Grief here, but they were able to move around exactly what I had. But I still have 3 important things here, and they have 1 discard spell. Surgical's gone. Murktide will be good someday. Ponder. Let's go crazy. I'm going to bin Delver and get Delirium here. Spell Pierce, another land. I would like to hit my land drop, and I would like access to Spell Pierce. I'm going to put Spell Pierce under the Ponder, though. I can Ponder into it next turn. Okay, still have Force Blue card and Daze. They still have no Dredgers. They checked my hand and decided not to try to do anything last turn. Force of Negation, pitching Murktide. And I'm going to keep the Ponder on top. I am interested in that. And now I Ponder into Spell Pierce that I also leave on top. Pretty awkward series of surveils, but it's all good. Oh wow, that's probably better. They know about Daze already. I'm going to go Surgical on the bottom of this pile, Pyroblast underneath, and take the Spell Pierce. This gives me 2 counterspells to keep fighting over the enablers. And then if they do sneak one through, Surgical is waiting on the bottom, like John Cena. Show up when you least expect it. And they played around Daze like a boss, but look what I got. Spell Pierce. Bang. And I'm actually going to hold on to the Pyroblast too. Because if I'm winning these enabler fights, I'm going to sit on the Surgical as long as I can. Breakthrough is one of the most potent enablers they have. Opponent's down to 8. Every land hurts them when they tap them. Double Cephalid Coliseum. Tough beats. They are playing around soft permission extremely well. But now I'm gassed up. Unless they start hard casting Griefs, I'm trying to figure out how they can win this game. They're going to 2 on this attack. I've unlocked my white mana. Okay, you're at 2. Can't really tap your lands anymore. Never got a Dredger into the graveyard for the whole game. Lion's Eye Diamond right now would get them to Threshold, which can activate one of the Colosseums, and then they go to 1. But then they'd still have to beat Surgical, and nope, couldn't get through it. That's how you beat Dredge with blue decks. Just counter every enabler. Okay, so this league, we started the league off by losing to 2 decks with natural order built to farm Delver, and then we beat everything else with some pretty cool play. And it's been a while, but you can rewatch the first 2 rounds and listen to what I actually said. But there were lines that could have been taken that were different. And then we end up in the philosophical argument of, is the higher percentage line that doesn't work out still the correct line, or is the correct line the one that wins the game, regardless of what the percentage would have been in a vacuum? So I don't know. We're just in that world on that one. But as far as 4th Eorlingas, it was pretty good a couple times. We never got to do or did we do it once? Did we do the turn 2 initiative or Monarch? I think I did it once. I don't know. You're all seeing this in one nice clean line. I've done like a coaching session in the middle of this league and stopped for lunch and did some other stuff. So movie magic, it's been a while for me since I played all of these matches. Honestly, I'm not sure if 3 is a good number of 4th Eorlingas. Maybe 2 if you want to be doing this sort of thing. And when we paired into the Grixis matchup, I just felt like I was behind on deck building. Bowmaster seemed way better than 4th Eorlingas in these small ball kind of matchups. I don't know. This is one league with this. I've played one league so far with Grixis Delver. I don't have strong opinions yet, but pros and cons of both. Grixis Delver is still tight and is very good at the small ball game, and 4th Eorlingas can just crack open mid game, which Delver may or may not be interested in playing anyway. So pretty cool to have the modal tool, but also you're worse at getting to the point where your modal tool really pays off. That's a sign of a good, healthy metagame if we don't know what we need to specifically play against or beat, because it's unpredictable because so many decks are viable. I like it. And 4th Eorlingas, the One Ring, and Orcish Bowmaster are all having a big effect on the format. But I kind of like it so far. I'm not sick of it. I don't think anything's toxic or we need to be having ban conversations or anything. Just let's see where it all settles, because right now it's up in the air and it feels kind of healthy. CTK, thank you for asking me to play Jeskai 4th Eorlingas Delver. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.